Good afternoon. Now, the last part of the motor is AC motors. AC motors means alternating current motors. Until recently, AC alternating current motors have not been considered suitable for robots because of the problems involved in controlling their speeds. In its simplest form, an AC motor consists of external electromagnets around a central rotor, but without any form of mechanical switching mechanism for the electromagnets. However, because alternating current, such as the mains electricity supply, is constantly changing polarity, first flowing one way, then the opposite way, several times a second, for example, 50 in India and 60 in the USA. It is possible to connect the AC supply directly to the electromagnets. The alternating reversal of the direction of current through the coils will perform the same task of polarity changing in AC motors. The magnetic field of the coils will appear to rotate almost as if the coils themselves were being mechanically rotated. Therefore, this is nothing but AC motors. We will see its videos in general. Okay, this is nothing but working of AC motors, two-phase AC motor and three-phase AC motor. In two-phase AC motor, generally four magnets are there. In three-phase AC motors, six magnets are there. And in case of two-phase motor, magnets are placed at an angle of 90 degree. In case of three-phase, they are placed at an angle of 120 degree, so that rotor will turn or will rotate. Therefore, typical advantages of an AC motor over its DC counterpart are listed below. First, cheaper. Second, convenient power supply. Third, no commutator and brush mechanism, hence virtually no electric spark. Generation of arcing, safe in hazardous environment like spray painting and others. Low power dissipation and low rotor inertia. High reliability, robustness, easy maintenance, and long life. Some of the disadvantages are the following: low starting torque, need auxiliary devices to start the motor, difficulty of variable speed control and servo control unless modern solid state and variable frequency drives with field feedback compensation are used. Therefore, this is AC motor. A typical specification of an AC motor is given in table 3.6. Therefore, specifications of an AC motor: brand ABB, manufacturer part number 1676687, type industrial single and three-phase electric motors, supply voltage 220 240, AC voltage 50 Hz frequency, output power 180 watt, input current 0.783 ampere, shaft diameter 14 mm, shaft length 30 mm, speed 1370 rpm, rated torque 1.3 Newton meter, starting torque 1.3 Newton meter, height 150 mm, length 213 mm, width 120 mm. Moreover, speed torque characteristics of AC motors are shown in figure in 3.19. Due to the complexity in speed control of an AC motor, a speed controlled DC drive generally works out cheaper than a speed controlled AC drive. Through the price difference, though the price difference is steadily dropping as a result of technological developments and the reduction in price of solid state devices. Alternating current AC motors can be classified into two groups, single phase and polyphase, with each group being further subdivided into induction or asynchronous and synchronous motors. Single phase motors tend to be used for low power requirements, while polyphase motors are used for higher powers. Induction motors tend to be cheaper than synchronous motors and are thus very widely used. Therefore, induction motors are known as asynchronous motors. They are very widely used. Now we are going to see the motors one by one. Now these are the typical speed torque characteristics of an four different designs of an AC induction motor: design A, design B, design C, and design D. Now, first AC motor is single phase squirrel cage induction motor. See that this is the side view, right on the right side, side view on the left side, front view is there. If you'll see rotor conductors giving the squirrel cage, conductors are there. It will form a squirrel cage. End rings, these are the end rings at the ends, connecting the ends of the conductors to give the circuits in which currents are induced. This is the stator pole, this is the pole, this is the rotor. Inside it is the rotor is there. It consists of a squirrel cage rotor, these being copper or aluminum bars that fit into slots in end rings to form complete electrical circuits as shown in figure 3.20. There are no external electrical connections to the rotor. The basic motor consists of this rotor with a stator having a set of windings. When an alternating current passes through the stator windings, an alternative magnetic field is produced, which appears like a rotating magnetic field. The rotating field in the stator intercepts the rotating windings, thereby generating an induced current due to mutual induction or transformer action. Hence the name induction motor. The resulting secondary magnetic flux interacts with the primary rotating magnetic flux, thereby producing a torque in the direction of rotation of the stator field. This torque drives the rotor. As the rotor speed increases, initially the motor torque also increases because of secondary interactions between the stator circuit and the rotor circuit, even though the relative speed of the rotating field with respect to the rotor it decreases, which reduces the rate of change of flux linkage and hence the direct transformer action. Note that the relative speed is termed as slip rate is given by S is equal to W omega F minus omega M divided by omega F, where omega F and omega M are the speed of the field and motor's rotor respectively. Quite soon, the maximum torque will be reached. Further increase in the rotor speed, that is a decrease in slip rate, sharply decreases the motor torque until a synchronous speed, zero slip rate. The motor torque becomes zero. We will see these videos after this explanation. For a single phase supply, when the rotor is stationary initially, the forces on the current carrying conductors or the rotor in the magnetic field of the stator are such as to result in no net torque. Hence, the motor is not self-starting. A number of methods are used to make the motor self-starting and give this initial impetus to start it. For example, to provide the starting torque, most single-phase motors have a main and auxiliary winding. The auxiliary winding current from the main winding is phase shifted. Connecting a capacitor in series with the auxiliary winding causes the motor to start rotating. The rotor rotates at a speed determined by the frequency of the alternating current applied to the stator. For a constant frequency supplied to a two-pole single-phase motor, the magnetic field will alternate at this frequency. The speed of rotation of the magnetic field is termed a synchronous speed. The rotor will never quite match this frequency of rotation, typically differing from it by about 1 to 3%. For a 50 Hz supply, the speed of rotation of the rotor, that is omega m, will be almost 50 revolutions per second. Therefore, this is nothing but squirrel cage induction motor. Now we will see the video. Okay, this is nothing but single phase motor. Now we will see three phase induction motor. See that this is three phase induction motor. Three pairs symmetrically placed. This is the rotor. This is the stator. As shown in figure, it is similar to the single phase induction motor but has stator with three windings located 120-degree apart. See that these three windings are there. 1, 2, and 3. They are placed 120-degree apart. Each winding being connected to one of the three lines of the supply. Because the three phases reach their maximum currents at different times, the magnetic field can be considered to rotate round the stator poles, completing one rotation in one full cycle of the current. The rotation of the field is much smoother than with the single phase motor. The three phase motor has a great advantage over the single phase motor in being self-starting. The direction of rotation is reversed by interchanging any two of the line connections, thus changing the direction of rotation of the magnetic field. Therefore, this is nothing but three-phase induction motor. It is having three phases. Three phases means three magnets. Three phases means three magnets placed at 120-degree to each other so that they will generate magnetic field, and under the action of magnetic field, this rotor will rotate. We'll see the video. Therefore, this is nothing but three-phase induction motor. Next is synchronous motor. See that this is the synchronous motor, this is the rotor, this is the stator. A synchronous motor has stator similar to those described above for induction motors, but a rotor is a permanent magnet as shown in figure. See that this is the rotor which is a permanent magnet. The magnetic field produced by the stator rotates, so the magnet rotates with it. Because of this magnetic field produced by the three magnets placed on the stator, magnetic field is generated, and this because of this rotor will rotate with one pair of poles per phase of the supply. The magnetic field rotates through 360 degree in one cycle of the supply, and so the frequency of rotation with this arrangement is the same as the frequency of the supply. Synchronous motors are used when precise speed is required. They are not self-starting, and some system has to be employed to start them. Therefore, this is the video of synchronous motor. Okay, this is nothing but synchronous motor. Now AC servo motor. Generally, a modern servo motor refers to an AC permanent magnet synchronous motor, servo motor. It consists of a stator winding plus rotor with feedback units like encoders, resolvers, etc. These motors have typical advantages of AC motors. Speed control of AC motors is based on the provision of a variable frequency supply, since the speed of such motors is determined by the frequency of the supply. In principle, the frequency of the alternating current applied to the motor, the faster it will rotate, providing varying frequency supplies to a number of axis drives simultaneously has been until recently largely impractical. In some special cases, for example, wound rotor AC induction motors, speed can be controlled by accessing the rotor circuit where different values of resistance can be inserted in the rotor circuit. Electromagnetic is used to provide regenerative braking to cut down the deceleration times and minimize axis overrun. Therefore, many industrial robots, for example, KUKA KR5 use AC servo motors today. A typical AC servo motor is shown in figure, whereas servo controllers look like those shown in figure 2.9c for the KUKA robot. Typical specification of an AC motor, AC servo motor is shown in the table 3.7. Therefore, this is AC servo motor. We are going to see the video. Now, I will read the specifications, then we will see the video. Specifications of an AC servo motor: brand Siemens, manufacturer part number IFK 7042-5AF21-1PA3, type AC synchronous servo motor, supply voltage 230 volt 50 Hz, power rating 820 watt, maximum output torque 2.6 Newton meter, output speed 3000 rpm, shaft diameter 19 mm, stall torque, stall torque means steady torque, stall means steady, 3 Newton meter, height 96 mm, length 162 mm, width 90 mm, encoder system for motor, 14-bit resolver with drive CLIQ interface. Therefore, this is the AC servo motor. We will see now the video. Okay, this is nothing but AC servo motor. Now again two drives are remain the variable frequency drives that I will cover. Okay, this way next drive is now all motors are over. Next drive is variable frequency drive. Variable frequency drive name itself indicates that various ranges of frequencies will be there for this drive. Even though the drive controls the frequency and voltage of power supplied to the motor, we often refer to this as speed control since the result is an adjustment of motor speed. There are many reasons why we may want to adjust the motor speed. For example, to save energy and improve system efficiency, convert power in hybridization applications, match the speed of the drive to the process requirements, match the torque or power of a drive to the process requirements, improve the working environment, lower noise levels, for example, from fans and pumps, reduce mechanical stress on machines to extend their lifetime, save peak consumption to avoid peak demand prices and reduce the motor size required. Therefore, this is the variable frequency drive. We'll see its video also. In addition, today's drives integrate networking and diagnostic capabilities to better control performance and increase productivity. So energy savings, intelligent motor control and reduction of peak current drawn are three great reasons to choose a variable frequency drive as the controller in every motor driven system. The most common uses of a VFD are for control of fans, pumps, and compressors, and these applications account for 75% of all drives operating globally. The drive can dramatically reduce energy consumption when compared to direct online operation, DOL operation, where the motor runs at full speed regardless of the demand. Using a drive, power savings of 40% are common. Therefore, these are the drive selection criteria. I will see this video after this slide. How to select different types of drives. First is criteria is load. Drive should be able to produce enough torque to overcome forces affecting your mechanism during motion and to move the calculated payload. Second, velocity. Sufficient speed of operations should be achieved. Accuracy. Accuracy of positioning, picking, and placing should be as per our requirement. Repeatability. Drive repeatability means precision. Drive should be able to reach commanded positions accurately, time after time, with unfailing precision. Reliability. You need to understand whether your drive includes variable parts and to know its mean time between failures and or guaranteed service life. Power consumption. Think about how you will supply power to the robot and how much power it will consume. Cost. If an inexpensive hydraulic drive is enough for your purposes, perhaps you should not go for higher priced stepper or servos. Next is form factor. Form means shape. Make sure your servo matches the robot for its particular components in size and design. Therefore, these are the different criteria for selection of the drives. Now we will see the video of variable frequency drive and then we will stop. 1 minute. Okay. Now we will see the video of variable frequency drive. Variable frequency drive. This last video, then we'll stop. Yes, this is of 5 minutes. Okay, this is of 3 minutes. This we will see. Okay, this is nothing but variable frequency drive. Now let me take your attendance.